Hello, my name is Shaffer, and this is my final project for Interpersonal Communication 508 Liberty. It was an interesting course. I learned a lot in this course. So I will go over it and we will start. First, the introduction. According to Peterson, 2007, the word communication derives from the root word to commune. It has at least two levels of sharing information and connecting with others. The body language, the tone, the expression, the engagement come into play at both levels. For the spirituality and minded overtones to commune suggests that people connect with the nature and God as well. For all of us, communication at its best can mean applying love and acceptance at how we listen, talk, value each other. What is interpersonal communication? Interpersonal communication is exchanging information between two or more people. During interpersonal communication, there is a message sending and a message receiving. Successful interpersonal communication is when message sender and message receiver understand each other. Interpersonal communication are the life skills we use every day to communicate and to interact with people both individually and in group. Interpersonal communication is the process that we use to communicate our ideals, thoughts, feelings to one another and another person. There are 6 features of communication: meaning, choice, culture, identity, conversation, and nexting. Now, I want to go into my overarching goal. My overarching goal is to become better at speaking, expressing myself, and getting others to listen. Achieving this goal is necessary because, according to Burley, if we want to be effective in our dealing with others, it is important to know the kinds of things we do that influence others to listen to us. To utilize this listening technique learned in this course and go beyond skills to increase empathy, genuineness, and warmth. To display the love of Christ in all our communications, verbal and nonverbal, through love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. To communicate with others in a way that is open and honest. Colossians 4:6 says this: "Let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer each one." It is by God's grace that we're able to communicate. Therefore, my communication should reflect my walk. Now we're going to the part that's talking about enlarging the conversation. This encompasses, for me, all the dynamics of interpersonal communication. Enlarging the conversation. First, conversation and dialogue that occurs in a relationship. Secondly, emphatic listening. Third, nonverbal and verbal communication. Fifth, by focusing on creating an inner silence, we are less aware of internal and external noises. Enlarging our conversation also says, to enlarge my conversation, I focus on being a more effective speaker as well as a better listener. Right now, I am already a good listener. And there's always room for improvement. This is, of course, how it shows. I need to be effective in my dealings with others. It is important to know the kinds of things you do that influence others to listen. This can be achieved by choice of words, nonverbal behaviors, my tone of my voice, attitude, how you ask questions, and how you give feedback. Now I want to share a little bit about my background. I am the oldest of 3 children. I'm the first male to graduate from with a bachelor's degree, and I will be the first male in my family to complete a master's degree, and actually this is my very last course. I'm grateful. I am the husband of a beautiful woman who is filming me at this time. I have 7 children. Our ages range from 30, and we have a baby 5 years old. Her name is Olivia. I'm a drug and alcohol counselor in a major city. And I'm also an elder, an associate pastor in my ministry. Now we're going to the DISC personality types. We have the D, outgoing task. We have the I, people-oriented. We have the S, reserved, people-oriented. And we have the C, reserved, task-oriented. Now we'll go on a little bit about myself. My behavior blend. According to the test that I've taken, I'm a CIS, and it says, people see you as an inspiring, impressing, both the crowds and individuals. You have a way with words and are very warm on an individual basis. People like your relational influence, but sometimes notice your lack of assertiveness and aggressiveness. Furthermore, you are personable than most other types. Now, what is expected of me was type 1, type I. The behavioral blend, CIS, the strength is caring, commanding, thinking, problem solving, friendly, like to influence, kind, great people skills, love inspiring crowds. Now the weaknesses, I lack demanding, intimidated, not that I'm afraid, but it says that if I am tired of people continuously asking me questions and asking me to do something, I will give in. At times I'd be stubborn, neglect being firm, critical words, and sometimes I overthink, and that is so true. Personality type 1. According to Carbonell, you stand out in the crowd because of your gregarious and bubbly personality. People often like to be around you because you're humorous, you show your feelings more often than others. Now, the strength in this one is encouragement and communication. And I have to agree with that because that's part of my ministry. I love to encourage and move people forward in their lives. And as an drug alcohol counselor, I love doing the same things. The weaknesses. Talk a lot. This is true. And enthusiasm. And the enthusiasm part is that because you're so into what you're doing that you talk a lot. Now, the communication barriers. Biased listening because of negative past experience, 1. Physical barriers. Fatigue is a factor. Disclosure and nonverbal behaviors. Solution to these barriers. Becoming a level 1 listener is the key for overcoming any barrier. At this level, listeners refrain from judging the talker and place themselves in the other's position, attempting to see things for his or her point of view. Self-disclosure deepens a relationship, improves the quality of relationships, and allow you to validate your perception of reality without self-disclosing. Consensual validation could not take place. Nonverbal facial expressions, postures, eye contact, nodding, and head in agreement. Noise pollution. Hear what you want. It's the internal. Solutions. Not allowing past experience to filter. Second one, biased listening. Solution. Open-mindedness, empathetic. Third, physical barriers. Solution. Jot down notes and focus on what is being said. Listen at a level 2. That means you can hear. You're a little tired, but you can take notes. Noise pollution. Of course, there's external. What the external is, you may have talkers and people that's outside in the hallways making noise. These are things that you don't have any control over. Noise pollution such as traffic, room temperature. If it's cold, you're not focusing. If it's hot, you're not focusing. Interruptions, cell phones, noises coming from over the intercom. And I have that problem at my job. Plan of action. My first plan is to thank God for completing this course and this project. 3 steps that I will continue. 1, I will remember to make my listening work for me. Avoid being critical and judgmental. Listen to the underlying meanings of what is being said. 2, remember the methods to improve listening skills. Research, take initiative, work at listening, focusing attention on ideals. Finally, always keeping God first by seeking Him in all that I do. Matthew 6:33 says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added." In conclusion, again, if I want to be effective in dealing with others, it is important to know the kinds of things that we do to influence the listeners to hear us. Again, this can be achieved by choice of words, nonverbal behavior, tone of voice, feedback, attitude, how you ask, and again, feedback. I want to thank you for this time. I want to thank Professor Fryer and the staff. And this is my final class. God bless. Take care.